Warning, this video may contain some material that many parents may find unsuitable for children under the age of 14. Don't forget, if you like this content, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and this week is a Splash Paints review. I've been using Splash Paints off and on now for about a month and a half, and I figured I'm qualified now enough, I've used it enough to be able to give a honest review, and I figured this was a perfect candidate. It's a nice little Hot Wheels wagon. It's already got the real riders on it. Not keen at all with the color or the tampos, and I wasn't keen on how hard it was to get it off, the paint, that is. So there's only one tab. I drilled that out already to save some time, since this is pretty much just a paint review. Nothing fancy about it. The interior is pretty detailed, actually, not too bad. You can't see it anyways, but it's there. So this took a while to strip and clean and polish. This stuff just did not want to come off, and I kind of knew that ahead of time. So I started, usually ones like this that have a really thick clear coat, straight from the factory, I'll actually hit with a Scotch-Brite pad and try to wear it off a little bit, so that way the stripper can work. Because I use this citrus strip, and I'm sure a more harsh stripper would probably make quick work of it. But regardless, I got it all cleaned up, wire wheeled and brushed. And then I'm going to use the Degreaser, and that's just Walmart, Zep, stuff you can pick up anywhere. And you can see, even though I've cleaned it 2 or 3 times, once you go to degrease it, there's a lot of residue left on a body that can affect your paint. So this stuff is pretty decent. I've had good luck using it. But yeah, look how nasty that crap is. I mean, and I cleaned this before I actually degreased it under hot soapy water. So I'm going to start off by using, this is the first time actually I've used the Splash Paints primer, and I'm using the black, which is 4-to-1 with the activator. And the one thing I gotta say I like about Splash Paints is how easy it flows through the airbrush. And everything, right now, I'm going to say it right now, everything I spray at 30 psi. Maybe 29, but that depends on my gauge and how accurate it is. It's a fairly new compressor, so I'm assuming it's fairly accurate. But it's set for 30, and this stuff flows really, really well. I probably could stand and maybe go down to 25 psi without any issues whatsoever. But 30 is kind of like where I paint everything, mainly because I'm heavy-handed and I'm used to painting cars, so I paint heavy. So the only downside I have with Splash Paints at all, and it's not even a bad thing, is it goes on thin. So whether you're painting black, it doesn't matter what you're painting, it tends to go on thin. So you have to, just like anything else, you put a really light coat on it first, and then you can just slowly build it up from there. The thing is you do go through a lot. I go through a lot, let me put it that way, because I do spray. Again, I spray pretty heavy. And looking at it on film, it definitely looks like I'm spraying heavier than what it really looks like in person. So I don't know if that's indicative of anything, but with the black primer, it goes on really, really nice. And a disclaimer is, this is the first time I've used the Splash Paints primer. I've put Splash Paints over Stynylrez and the Tamiya white and gray primer out of the rattle can, and it's all worked perfectly. So you don't have to use their primer. I wanted to stick from start to finish, aside from the clear coat, with the same brand. But I have used it with multiple. I've actually put Create Tex candies over the Splash Paints. It works, seems to work. I haven't had any issues yet. But again, I'm sticking with it for the entire purpose of this video. The black, like I said, it's not deep black. It's more of a dark gray. I suppose if I could have later maybe put 3 or 4 more layers on it. I think I put 4 total. Each time getting increasingly heavier and heavier, and a little bit more confident that it's not going to run. But it's definitely black, and that's what I'm using this particular time. I have white as well. So I've got this Chameleon Paint, and it's like a brown orange chameleon, and I'm going to do the roof, and it says to apply over black. So I masked off the roof, and I'm strictly going Chameleon Paint right over that. And it's like I want to say color change, but that is so overused. But yeah, it's pretty much a color change paint, but it's a subtle color change. And unfortunately, there's only a few shots here you can really see it. It's really hard to capture on camera, but it really does pop when you look at it up close. And same thing, I'm putting it on real light over the black. And this is the first time I'm using this paint as well. Actually, almost every paint I'm using this time is the first time using it. So what I like about Splash Paints too is when you go to their website, and disclaimer, they're not paying me to do this. I bought my own shit. I just really like it, and I hope other people try it if you haven't already, and like it as much as I do. But you can actually, if you see a car out there, like a brand new Mustang, and you're like, oh man, I love that color, you can actually go to their website, and if you look, it's all broken down by like American cars, and it breaks it down by Chrysler and Ford and Chevy. I'm a Chevelle guy. I bought Le Mans Blue. Another GM color is Butternut Yellow, Cortez Silver, and you can actually match stuff that you actually like. See there, you can kind of see the color change a little bit. I'm using my GoPro when I paint, because I don't like putting my $800 Canon that close to the paint. But yeah, it looks really good. There you can definitely see it there. So that was obviously phase 1 is prime. Phase 2 is to put the Chameleon Paint on. This stuff does dry really nice and really fast. I waited a little bit. I waited a couple hours before I did anything with it. But I probably could have done it masked it off within maybe 20 minutes to a half an hour. So I bought this Tamiya tape, and it's a regular, I wouldn't call it a masking tape, but it's more like pinstriping tape. And I bought it because it was thin, and it goes around in corners really well. It's almost like a vinyl. And I like the fact that it was 2mm. I couldn't find anything thinner. So I really love this stuff. This is the first time using this as well. So there's a lot of firsts in this video for a change. But what I like I said, is it's very stretchy. But you just got to make sure you push it into all the nooks and crannies and crevices on the casting, anyways, to make sure that you got everything. Like the door lines, you can use your fingernail to kind of push it in there a little bit. But it really molds well. And when it goes around a corner, you can actually just give it a little bit of a tug, and then use your other finger to push down as you bend it to your will or where you want it. So I give this tape 2 thumbs up. I really like it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up some contrast for. You'll see in a minute. It's kind of hard to explain right now. But I just wanted a couple spots on this to have the black undercoat as the base showing, whereas I'm going to have the chameleon top. And to be honest with you, when I did this, I had no idea if this was going to look good, bad. I could have gone with a really stark contrast between the body and the roof, and I didn't. I wanted it to be subtle. Problem is, it's so subtle, unless you're looking at it in person, not on camera, you don't see it. So that was my bad. But I wanted some spots, and again, you'll see that maintain that black base. So that's what the pinstriping is. You can see I did a little bit on the nose and then the sides. So the next phase in this project is going to be, I get two types of candy sparkle paint. So think of it as metal flake. They have a fine and then a regular. and I decided to go with the regular or the fine. I was a little afraid it was going to be too fine. And this stuff is amazing. Again, no mixing. You just shake it up right out of the damn bottle, pour it in your airbrush, and you go. This stuff actually went on really, really beautiful. I mean, you can start to see it right away. No runs. I was able to put it on a little heavier than most of the other paints from them. It stuck really, really well. And again, they recommend like a black base, but you can kind of do it over whatever. It depends what color combo you're trying to make, and you can create your own. It's again, it's a guessing game. So I put 2 or 3 coats of this on because I really wanted a heavy metal flake undercoat. And you can see right there, I'm just trying to hit all the nooks and crannies and make sure. And the other thing about that tape is I was really laying that shit on there, and it didn't get underneath the tape at all. So that stuff, once you push it down, it stays stuck. So after taking the tape off, and again, I didn't do the roof, but now I've taken the tape off the sides and the hood, and now I'm going to hit this thing with a root beer candy. And again, no mixing, shake it up really, really well, and just apply it right out of the bottle. This stuff really, really, they have a bunch of different candies. I'm going to actually order a hell of a lot more when I'm done, just because this stuff is so easy. And what's even better, I'm lazy. I hate cleaning my airbrush. This stuff is a breeze to clean up. I mean, you dump what you don't use out, and you can dump it right back into the bottle because it's not mixed. And then pretty much wipe it down, run some thinner through it, you're done. I mean, this stuff cleans up really good, and it doesn't clog your nozzle. So that's even better. So you can see right there, I've got like maybe a coat and a half there. Unfortunately, this angle with the lighting, you're not gonna get the full effect yet. This stuff really goes on, and you can see where I left the black, so it almost looks like a racing stripe in the front, but it also it's subtle on the side, but it's enough where it breaks it up a little bit because it's a big vehicle, a lot of sides. So I wasn't feeling adventurous enough to get into doing some really heavy panel work. So here you can kind of see this is before the clear coat. And all this is a base coat clear coat system. So I'm using auto body clear that I use on everything that I do. And there you can kind of see right there. I mean, look at the chameleon, look at the metal flake. This thing is just gorgeous. I am so pleased with how this thing came out. And that's all attributed to this paint and how easy it is to apply. I'm by far not a really super duper painter, but I love this shit. Oh, look at that. Right there you can see. You can tell my voice, I'm kind of psyched. Unfortunately, the glamour shots, it doesn't even look that good. So, but yeah, this came out so good. I am stoked. So, with that being said, I started a new thing this week called the Wicked Pissa Jar. You got to say that like you're from Boston. It's going to be filled with free stuff. Every week I'm going to dump something in. When I hit 14,000 subscribers, I'm giving the entire jar away to one subscriber. Yep, one subscriber. When I reach 14,000, I'll give it away. This is the first item that's going in it. Every week, I don't know what it'll be. It could be anything. It could be 3D printed parts, whatever. So shout out to my Patreon members. I also made some changes to my Patreon account. I actually set up tiers for the first time and using it the way it's supposed to be using. I'm going to be doing a ton of giveaways, including this vehicle. I'm giving away to a Patreon member next week. You'll see the tiers that are set up right now. If you guys want, feel free to hop over and contribute. It's up to you. No big deal either way. That's the Patreon address because I'm horrible about marketing myself, but that's the address if you're looking. This is what I started out with. God awful. I mean, I like Mad Magazine, don't get me wrong, but this color and the tampos are just, I don't know, just really, I can't say what I think, but not very good. This is what I ended up with. I think it came out good. Some Patreon member is going to be a very happy camper. I hate to get rid of it. I love it. Hope you do too. Feel free to comment down below. Love to hear from you. Love to hear your input. And thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.